Hello everyone, it's Dr. Manjiri Narkani, Ayurvedic MD, registered holistic nutritionist and base allergy consultant back today. So we are live on Facebook as well as Instagram, and today we are going to discuss about an important topic that I just delivered a webinar on. I wanted to keep the same topic, and my webinar was more focused on different practitioners to help them, practice better, to help them with their clients. But in this video, I'm going to talk directly to you so you can better your health, right? So that is the whole goal. So, the number one thing that I wanted to discuss in today's video is you have to start thinking beyond the calories, right? So I have so many clients that come to me, and they're making sure they're eating good amounts of protein. They're making sure, if they're on weight loss programs, they will go for a low fat diet or a low carb diet. So they often focus on macros, right? So macronutrients are the nutrients in the food that provide energy for you. The three main macros are proteins, carbs, and fats, right? And often a lot of diets that we see today are structured around these. An example is keto is a high fat, low carb diet. If you're looking at paleo, that's a high protein diet, right? So often your or low carb is something that is very popular for weight loss, right? So often when we see clients, we are seeing, or generally people will always go for some kind of a macro oriented diet, which will help them lose weight, which will help them have better cognitive function, better brain function, that will help them feel a little bit more live and not as tired. So those macro based diets are what they do, but macros are not foolproof, right? So this is the number one thing I wanted to point out, that macros are not foolproof. Macros are not made equally, right? So there are a lot of problems that can happen if you start hyper focusing on macros. And see, as nutritionists, often we talk that calories are deceptive, right? 200 calories of chips, is not going to be the same as 200 calories of fresh fruit, right? So if we look at gummy bears, for example, just 1.5 ounces of gummy bears will be 200 calories, and two large apples are going to be 200 calories. So it is not the same, right? But even when it comes to macros, it is not going to be foolproof, because in some people, the same macros, a low carb diet will help you lose weight. In somebody else, it's going to make you feel exhausted. It's going to make you feel extremely tired, extremely depleted. You will start losing a lot of your hair. You will start messing up your adrenal function. You will start messing up your thyroid function as well if you go crazy low carb, right? And this is something I experienced long time back in my early 20s, when I wasn't much aware of nutrition. Low carb was really popular at the time, so I started doing really low carb, and that took a toll on my health before I found Ayurveda, right? So it is not the solution. Again, we have seen that keto may work for some. Keto is not going to work for every person out there. So you have to make sure that it's optimized to you, right? And the third thing that we have often seen is high protein. So in my practice, I will always measure everything, because measurement is the best way to know. You can't blindly target weight loss, you can't blindly target muscle gain, right? So we will track in the clinic how much muscle mass you have, how much body fat you have, what's your water retention before and after. And often I have seen that people that come to me eating higher amounts of protein are not picking the protein up in the body, right? So why is this happening, right? Is because you may not be digesting that protein. Everybody's capacities are different. So macros are not foolproof. They are not the only way to identify, and we need to start thinking beyond the macros to be able to see what exactly it is that we require from our diet, from our nutrition, right? to help bring the body back into balance. And there are five main signs that your body is out of balance. The number one sign is if you're extremely tired, exhausted, your body is out of balance. If you have digestive issues, your body is off balance. If you are not sleeping well, right? And if you wake up feeling not refreshed, you're feeling exhausted as you wake up, you're pushing the snooze button constantly, you're not feeling well. When you wake up, you'd rather sleep. That shows your body's out of balance. If you have uncontrolled emotions, there's a lot of anxiety, lots of frustration, depression, so that shows your body's out of balance. And if you have weight related issues, so it could be extreme weight loss, extreme weight gain, right, which makes you uncomfortable, you should know that your body is out of balance. So these are five main signs that show your body is out of balance. Which of these five signs are you experiencing? Are you tired? Do you have any digestive issues? Do you have sleep issues? Any emotional issues or weight related issues? Please put it in the comment section and I can give you some specific tips to yourself. So namaste, Vaidya Hemant, nice to meet you. I want to say a quick hi to Dr. Anjali. Emruk is here, and then Nazar is here as well. Yeah, so just say a quick hi if you're online, and if you have questions, please post them in the comments. I'm trying to keep these videos shorter, so it's not going to be too lengthy for you to view. So let's talk about five main strategies as to how we can look at our nutrition from an optimum point, like optimizing your nutrition, and how you can start thinking beyond the macros, right? So again, another example I can give you is I had a client yesterday, and she was having protein shakes, energy bars constantly because she was extremely busy. So she would wake up, she would go for a protein shake, then she would have an energy bar as a snack, and she was having enough protein, but she was constantly tired, right? And the number one thing that I told her was, see, when you eat food, the food is not only feeding your physical body, right? In yoga, we say there are five levels of the existence, there are five sheaths to the body. So the physical body is called the food sheath. There is also the emotional body, right? Or the mental body. There is also the energetic body. So the food you eat has to feed different layers, right? So not just the annamay kosh or your food sheath, you also have to feed your energy sheath. You also have to ensure that your mind, you're eating for optimum mental function, and that is important. And 100% with the Hemant, digestion is really important. But today we are talking about a nutritional standpoint where often in the West, I don't know if this is the trend in India, but often in the West, I have seen in Canada, everybody's so focused on the macronutrients, protein, 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 or high fat, not having enough carbs, but that is really putting their health for a toss, right? So number one thing you need to do is eat fresh live foods, eat as fresh as possible. In the summertime, you can go to farmers markets and you will get fresh vegetables, right? Always pick fresh rather than frozen, because they are live foods. They have lots of what we call prana or life force, and they are going to nourish your life force as well. So you could be eating the perfect amount of macros, but if you have everything packaged and processed, you are not going to get that life force. Your food is not rich in prana, you're not going to be healthy, you're not going to feel that emotional balance. So always eat fresh live foods. That's the number one sign for getting back your optimal nutrition. There are certain foods you can start including in your diet which have a good vibration. Something like berries are extremely good in vibrational, herbs are fantastic, spices are fantastic. So usually they have higher amounts of antioxidants, and vibrationally they are also fantastic. So including these in your diet is the number two thing, right? So live foods is number one. Second is high vibrational foods, so any kind of fresh foods, right? So whenever you have beans, you soak them, you let them sprout a little bit, that becomes higher vibrational, right? Whenever you go for, and in Ayurveda, we have talked that, okay, don't eat sprouts a lot, but we are talking about the big mung bean sprouts. not sprouted grains, right? So if you do a little bit of sprouting, that's fine, but when they are become like really water dense, that's when they will start working against you. So live foods, number one, high vibration foods. Berries are fantastic. Amla berry is fantastic, right? It helps disperse the heat. Holy basil, any kind of fresh basil, rosemary, thyme, whatever herbs you enjoy, start adding those to your diet. They are high in vibration. They are super effective for digestion. They will really help you. Third thing is eat for your unique needs, right? So eat what your body needs and avoid what your body does not like. And this is again number one principle of Ayurveda is Nidan Parivarjan. Anything that's causing a problem in your body, anything that's making you bloated, gassy, constipated, any food intolerance that you have, food sensitive that you have to cut it out of your body or out of your diet. Only then your body can go back into balance, right? So if you are struggling with joint pain, it could be tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, eggplants, which are nightshades. If you are struggling with digestive issues, it could be related to dairy, it could be related to wheat or gluten. So please get tested and avoid those food sensitivities, food intolerances, and that will really help bring your body back into balance. Now, do not follow a diet because your friend is eating something. So just because your friend is keto, it may not work for you, right? So eat what your body feels good with. When you have a meal, you should feel energized with the meal. You should not feel bogged down or tired after eating a meal. If you're feeling tired, bogged down after eating a meal, it shows your body is out of balance, your digestion is off the charts, and you may be suffering from food sensitivities or food intolerances. So that's the number three, right? Fourth is always eat for your energy levels. So eat foods that are high in nutrients rather than high in calories, right? So these are both completely different foods. An example I would give you is a fruit, right? Is going to be rich in fiber. It will have good amounts of water. It will have good amounts of vitamins and minerals, and that will be good for you. A cheeseburger on the other hand is rich in calories, but there is not much nutrition in there, right? So because even the meat, even the hamburger, it's all the leftovers that they're just packing and processing. The cheese is all processed, the bun is all processed. It's not really rich in nutrients, it's rich in calories. So nutrient density is what you need to focus on rather than calorie density. Good amounts of nutrients for energy levels. Omega 3s work fantastic, right? So having foods like nuts and seeds, especially in the morning, will help tonify your mind as well. So something like walnuts, you can start your day eating walnuts. Almonds, you can soak peel almonds at night and have them in the morning. They will work fantastic for you. So that's number 4, eat for energy levels. Number 5 is eat for your mind, right? Eat for mental health. So a lot of frozen foods, excessively processed foods, or even fermented foods in excess are not great for your mind, right? In Ayurveda, we talk about the mind having three qualities. We talk about foods that promote clarity, which are sattvic foods. We talk about foods that will stimulate you, that's rajasic foods. And we talk about foods that will create inertia, those are tamasic foods, right? So you want to make sure that you eat little of the rajasic and tamasic foods and more of the sattvic foods. So sattvic foods are going to be simple foods that will can be consumed on a daily basis. An example is mung beans are fantastic, right? Zucchini, rice, ghee clarified butter, sweet potatoes, yams, honey, they're all sattvic foods. You can consume them in plenty. So rather than having refined sugar, maybe use honey in place of that. That is a good option, right? Rather than going for potatoes, switch over to sweet potatoes or yams, right? Rice, whole grain rice, not just the basmati rice, but any kind of whole grain rice. Red rice, wild rice is another great option. Have these, make these the staple of your diet, and that's when you will feel good, when you will feel clear in your mind. Rajasic foods, caffeine, an example, anything like coffee or black tea, spices, onion, garlic, chocolate, chilies, carbonated beverages. You can have in small quantities, but if you are struggling with any mental health conditions, just minimize the use, right? So do not have too much coffee. Coffee often can create a lot of anxiety. It can trigger anxiety. It will push your adrenals further, which will make you tired. So cut out the coffee if you can. So small quantities definitely you can have, but not too much. Even salt, don't overdose on salt, have everything too salty. Small amounts definitely you can have. And when we talk about tamasic foods which create mental inertia, any excess red meat, frozen foods, canned foods, or fermented foods, right? So fermented foods have been used throughout different generations, but in the smallest quantity. You do not see pickle as the main meal or sauerkraut in a bowl and a little bit of rice on the side, right? You will see sauerkraut as a small spoon or two-spoon addition to your meal. The same with pickles. Like in India, we don't have like a pickle diet and then you have a little bit of rice or something. You add pickle as an accompaniment in really small quantities. So fermented foods, do not overdose on kombucha or have too much kefir, too many fermented foods, right? So that has to be had in moderation as well. And this is how you can focus on getting optimal nutrition. So 5 simple strategies, I'm going to go over them again. Eat fresh, live foods. Eat foods that are high in vibration. Eat according to your specific unique needs, right? Eat for your energy, physical energy. Eat to avoid any food sensitivities, and make sure you're eating foods that will support your mind. So I'm going to stop today's topic right here. I will see you next week for another Wellness Wednesday. Till then, have a fantastic day, and please post your comments or questions in the chat, and I'll make sure I will answer those. So thanks, have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.